Hey everyone, and welcome to Fright Bites, your weekly source for horror reviews. This week we're going to be talking about XCOM Enemy Unknown, the recent revival of the legendary turn-based strategy franchise. I'll confess straight away, this is actually my first experience with the series, and all I have to say is, good God, what have I been missing? Although I haven't been a fan of the series up to this point, I do know that the loyal legions of XCOM fans have been waiting with bated breath to see if this game was actually worth the wait. Well, while I might not know much about the original, I am extremely pleased to tell you that XCOM Enemy Unknown is one of the best strategy games I've ever played, turn-based or otherwise. There are a lot of reasons to like Enemy Unknown. The graphics, the sound design, the atmosphere, all these are great, but the star of the show is undoubtedly the gameplay. Enemy Unknown does for turn-based strategy what Halo Wars did for real-time strategy games. It takes a complex and potentially off-putting system of menus and statistics and replaces them with a more straightforward and streamlined interface that will doubtlessly come as a huge relief for console players. And thankfully, this streamlining process doesn't just make the missions themselves faster paced and more visceral, it also extends to the base building and team management portions of the games, which never seem like a bore. In fact, I actually found myself having fun as I organized my research, surveillance, and manufacturing to give me an edge over my increasingly dangerous alien foes. Yet even with that, there is one element that elevates XCOM above other strategy games, and that is the constant, unrelenting tension. On the battlefield, there's always a pervasive sense of unease. With only occasional hints as to where the enemy is, every movement has to be cautious, every action has to be weighed, and every shot has to count. Even when you're a max-level team with the highest grade weapons and armor, you will never be able to fully relax, because any move you make might reveal the enemies moving to flank you, and every shot you take could cost you some other advantage, and every attack the enemy makes could potentially end the game early. And that brings us to another subject that could either be one of the game's biggest assets or one of its biggest drawbacks: the challenge. I, for one, welcome a challenge, and feel that a lot of modern games are simply too easy, simply rolling over and letting the player walk to the finish line. Not so here. Here, soldiers that are killed on the battlefield are lost for good, along with all their experience and talent, forcing you to start over with a raw recruit at the bottom of the skill tree. Not only that, but nations that you have not adequately defended will drop out of the XCOM project, taking their precious monthly funding with them. And unlike other games, it is actually possible to lose Enemy Unknown. I'm not talking about just a clever game over screen and a reset to the nearest checkpoint. I mean that it is actually possible to reach a point where you are so utterly screwed that you will have to start the game over in order to beat it. Of course, that only adds to the sense of urgency that permeates your every action in this game. Anyway, despite all the good stuff, there are a few problems in the game. The major issue I had while playing this game were the glitches. There are, of course, the standard graphical glitches when the camera zooms in for an action scene, and these are generally either harmless or even hilarious. For example, my team's sniper is such a good shot that he can take down enemies while firing in the opposite direction. Far less funny are the other potentially game-breaking glitches that crop up from time to time. On each of the first 3 days I played the game, I encountered 3 separate glitches that stopped me dead in my tracks. Fortunately for one of them, I was able to reload a saved game, but on the other 2, nothing short of pulling the plug on my 360 was able to get me to start over. With that said, the 3rd time it happened was the last, so I won't complain too long or too loud about it. The only other complaint I have is the final room of the final mission. I was able to complete the final epic battle in a single turn. Lackluster doesn't begin to describe it, but hey, we've all seen a lot worse. Mass Effect 3! Excuse me, I coughed before I said Mass Effect 3's ending sucked. Anyway, despite these relatively minor annoyances, XCOM is still a great game, and I'm happy to give it a 9 out of 10. It may not be perfect, but it's pretty damn close. Anyway, that's it for this week. See you next time on Fright Bites.